Hi folks, welcome to another video. As you can see, I have treated myself to a new wheel, the Thrustmaster Ferrari SF1000 edition, which is the F1 replica from, I think, 2020 season. So I'm going to unbox this, see what's inside the box, talk you through that, see how it compares to my trusty old Thrustmaster open wheel, which I've had for probably about a year now, and nothing but good things to say about it. So let's unbox this, get it set up and see how it performs. So let's get this box open and see what we have inside here. Okay, so we have a small box. We'll see what's in that in a second. And the gear lever, paddles I should say, need to be fitted to the back of the wheel. So we'll have a look at that. And let's get the wheel itself out and have a quick look at that. There we are. Certainly feels nice and weighty in the hand. And there's the bit on the back for the paddles to stick in. Rotary buttons on the sides. So let's have a closer look at this and what's in the box that came with it. So here's the box that came with the wheel. And there's another smaller box in there and a bit of bump. So what do we have here? Quick start guide. All seems pretty straightforward. Formula wheel add-on, which says the Ferrari SF1000, the 66 single-seater produced by Scuderia Ferrari to compete in the 2020 season of the most important open wheel category, accomplished a historic feat. 70 years after the team's debut in Monaco on the 21st of May 1950, the SF1000 took part in Scuderia Ferrari's 1000th race at the prestigious Mugello circuit. To celebrate this impressive milestone, Thrustmaster produced the Formula Wheel add-on Ferrari SF1000 edition, faithfully reproducing the steering wheel of a single-seater designed for the 2020 season. So there we go. And what's this? Seems like just another quick start stroke guide. Okay. So what's in this wee box that came inside the bigger box? So we have a tiny little Allen key, 4 screws and a little USB cable. So the 4 screws are obviously going to be to stick this on the back, so let's do that now. So attaching these gear pedals is just a simple case of setting it in. I mean, there's only really one way it can go in, and there's a little got a little connector on one side, and there's only one side that can fit in. So basically, it pops on the top. There we go, and then there's 4 screws just to go in there. So I'll do that now. There we go. So that's the gear lever mounted on the back, just 4 small screws, 5-minute job basically. Feels very nice, magnetic action, and all these buttons got a nice positive feel to them all, nice click, 4-way hats. Yeah, all very nice action as well. Oh, there's, I think that's to switch the screen on and off once it's mounted. So, not taking the plastic off yet, big moment. Let's get this mounted to my rim and see how we go from there. So here we are, all mounted to my T300 rim. And next thing to do, switch the PC on, see if there's any updates to the Thrustmaster software or firmware. So let's see what happens when my PC first recognises the wheel. So as expected, the wheel went through its calibration when my PC was booting up. I've not even logged in yet, and you can see that something's happening on the screen. It's just alternating between a Thrustmaster logo and a Ferrari logo just now. Okay, so we've got the wheel back off the servo base because the wheel needs its firmware updated, which means connecting the wheel directly to the PC via this USB-C connection, which means the gear paddle's coming off again. So kind of wish Thrustmaster might have mentioned that in the instructions before I attached it to the wheelbase, but never mind. Let's go and update it now. Okay, so that's the wheel attached to the PC, and now we need to run the Thrustmaster updater. So there we go, firmware update. Yeah, so there we go, SF1000. Click to proceed. There we go, downloading. And it looks like it's been updated. Okay, so we're back in business. The SF1000 is now up to that firmware version 5.51, and as soon as I connected it, it's now showing up in my Thrustmaster software, which is firmware 34, which it says here. T-servo base T300 should be version 34. So everything ties up and we're all looking good. So one thing I definitely don't seem to have in the box, which I was a bit surprised about, was a bigger user manual. So it is available on Thrustmaster's site here. So I've downloaded it as a PDF, and you can see it's quite a substantial manual. I would have thought something at this price point, £335, they would have included this. So not so good, Thrustmaster. But anyway, I've downloaded it now, so let me go and have a read of this to see what my next step is. Yeah, so here we are, basically on almost the first page of the manual, telling me to connect the rim to my base unit and download the latest firmware for the wheel. Again, you know, if you ain't going to include the manual in the box, Thrustmaster, folk are just going to attach the wheel and expect it to start working. So anyway, we've done this bit now. So I've had a little read of the manual, which doesn't tell you too much, to be honest, but basically this, and this are controlling the screen. Pushing this one switches you into the menu. Then you can use this to go through various options or see what the current firmware and everything is on your wheel. That's just brightness, switching between imperial or custom or metric for your gallons, or mph or kilometers per hour. And this Wi-Fi, which I'm not going to get into just now because I'm hoping to use it in what's called native mode, where it should just work with some sims, the main one being ACC, which is what I race most of the time. So I'm not going to try the Wi-Fi thing just now because I don't think I really need it. Tonight, in a matter of 3 hours, I have a Porsche Cup league race with my league, the eSENIORS, for those of us over 50 years old. So I did a little bit of practice the other day, but I'm going to go and spend about an hour or two practicing, obviously first time with the new wheel, and I'll see what the readouts show me and everything, because I know that this wheel is natively supported in ACC. So that's my next step. Go and have an actual shot of it, and I'll do a little bit of video when it's running, and then once I've had a good bit of time to work on my setup, I'll come back and give you some more thoughts. Well, this is looking promising. Just fired ACC up and went into the multiplayer server to do some practice, and the screen immediately changed to this. So it all seems to be working. These are different screens you can have it on. Very nice. So I'm going to go out and try a bit of lapping. Right, so I've been out for about 10 laps, 10 practice laps, just getting used to the feel of the wheel. Not played around with any of the screen settings. I'm just trying to get used to the kind of weight of it in my hands. It definitely feels more chunky than the old Thrustmaster open wheel, but you would expect that. The gear lever changes, I've got a beautiful positive click to them. It almost feels like a sort of thump going through your hand as you're changing up and down, and it feels really, really good. I didn't really change any of the mappings from what ACC mapped on. I only did one, which was camera view, just to make sure I was in the right view. So I left it on this kind of readout for 10 laps. And you can see I did a 1:34.770 was my best lap, and just changing this around a little bit, so there you go. It's obviously saved my best lap there. I'm not sure what that other one means. I'll have to read up on that. ERS and DRS not applicable to GT3 cars, obviously. I assume that is saying the pole time of the race that I was in was a 1:31.83, so I'm a good 3 seconds off the pace there. Gives me a readout for how much fuel I've got left, what state the tyres are in. Now, I haven't noticed any degradation there. I wonder if in a race distance that'll come down, even in ACC, to less than 100%. That just looks like an alternative readout. And back to that one by the looks of things, so you can flip right through them all. Oh. Wow, there seems to be more than I thought. Let's get it back to that one, which seems good for racing. What I do like is the LED up the top lights up obviously for your revs, and it's a good sort of visual indicator out the corner of your eye for changing up. And the side ones here and here are going to give you warnings for like yellow or blue flag. I'd imagine will come up there during a race. So far pretty impressed, but you know, it's only been 10 laps, which has been what, 15 minutes or so. So I've still got a bit to get used to it, but early impressions are pretty good.